NBC News has just confirmed that actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54, accidentally drowned while swimming in the ocean on Sunday.
Fans are reeling from the heartbreaking news. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, beloved star of The Cosby Show, is dead at just 54. The circumstances? A drowning that's left more questions than answers. How could this happen to someone who seemed so grounded? Was there more going on beneath the surface than fans ever knew? In this video, we dive deep into the truth behind the headlines. From the early details of his tragic death, to the legacy he leaves behind, and the ripple effects now shaking the entertainment world. This isn't just a celebrity tragedy, it's a wake-up call. The shocking announcement. When news first hit the internet that Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, had died at 54, disbelief spread like wildfire. Fans, journalists, and even close friends struggled to accept what they were reading. Social media flooded with tributes and confusion, many wondering if it was just another cruel celebrity death hoax. After all, Warner had remained relatively quiet in recent months, but showed no signs of distress or illness. But the confirmation came swiftly and definitively. According to reports cited by the Daily Mail, Warner was found deceased after a suspected drowning incident. The location: a private rental home in Los Angeles. The cause? Unclear but presumed accidental. The impact? Devastating.
I look forward to looking back on a very happy life and a very successful.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner was more than a former child star. To millions of viewers around the world, he was the heart of The Cosby Show, a symbol of young black excellence, intelligence, and sensitivity in a time when such representation was rare. As Theo, he offered warmth, humor, and emotional depth, giving an entire generation a character to identify with. His sudden death reopened a deep emotional connection fans hadn't even realized they still carried with them. But as the headlines settled, a new question began to emerge. What really happened in those final moments? And were there signs that something was wrong? Signs we all missed? Circumstances of his death. The sudden death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner has left a cloud of sorrow and unanswered questions. According to initial reports, Warner drowned while staying at a private rental property in Los Angeles. What was intended to be a peaceful solo retreat turned tragic when he was found unresponsive. Despite emergency efforts, he could not be revived. Authorities currently list the cause of death as drowning, though the full investigation is ongoing. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy, and early toxicology results have yet to be released. No substances or alcohol were reportedly found at the scene, and while foul play has not been confirmed, it also hasn't been ruled out. Friends say Warner was in good health and showed no recent signs of distress. Just days before, he had spoken with collaborators on an upcoming spoken word project, sounding optimistic and creatively energized. His passing has blindsided loved ones and fans alike. There was no final message, no public sign that something was wrong. Warner had always valued his privacy, often retreating from the public eye between projects, so this quiet getaway didn't raise concern. That silence has only deepened the heartbreak. The news of his passing sparked an immediate outpouring of grief. That man gave us one of the greatest scenes in the history of television. "I am over here sobbing," one fan wrote on X. Another added, "Forever our Theo Huxtable, your legacy shines on." Jamie Foxx was among the first celebrities to respond, posting simply, "Speechless on this one. Rest in power, my brother." The loss of Malcolm-Jamal Warner at 54 feels both unreal and unbearable. And now the world is left asking, how could someone so grounded, so vibrant, be gone so suddenly? A career that defined generations. Before the world mourned Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing, it celebrated a career that helped shape television and culture. Warner's breakout role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show redefined the image of black youth on screen. As the intelligent, funny, and flawed teenage son of the Huxtable family, Warner brought honesty and depth to a character that resonated with millions. His performance helped The Cosby Show become a cultural touchstone, and Theo, a generational icon. But Warner's impact didn't end with his early fame. Instead of fading from view or chasing stardom, he forged a lasting, multifaceted career. He headlined the sitcom Malcolm and Eddie, proving his comedic chops and versatility. Dramatic turns in Sons of Anarchy, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, and The Resident revealed his ability to evolve and adapt, tackling complex characters with quiet intensity. Warner was far more than an actor. He was a director, poet, and musician. His spoken word albums fused jazz, soul, and poetry, earning critical acclaim for their emotional richness. In 2015, he won a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance with Robert Glasper and Layla Hathaway, confirming his range as a true creative force. Throughout his life, Warner remained grounded. He stayed away from scandal, chose privacy, and focused on meaningful art. While the Bill Cosby controversy cast a long shadow, Warner spoke with clarity and compassion. In 2023, he told people that the cast was still very proud of The Cosby Show, adding, "We share a unique experience that keeps us lovingly bonded." He never ignored the pain, but reminded us that powerful art and genuine connection can endure. And yet, while his career spanned decades, some believe his most personal battles were kept far from public view. Private battles and public silence. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was always careful about what he shared with the world. Unlike many of his peers, he didn't flood social media with personal updates or chase headlines. He valued peace, control, and above all, privacy. That choice earned him respect. But now, in the wake of his sudden death, it's also sparked new questions. Was he carrying burdens that no one saw? Those close to Warner describe him as thoughtful and intensely introspective. While he often appeared composed in interviews, there were moments, especially in his poetry and music, where he hinted at deeper emotional struggles. Themes of loss, anxiety, and isolation ran through some of his most recent work, though few connected them to his own life at the time. Behind the scenes, Warner reportedly experienced moments of deep frustration with Hollywood. He'd spoken, though quietly, about the difficulty of sustaining an acting career post-child stardom, especially as a black man unwilling to compromise his values. The industry loved him as Theo, but often struggled to see him beyond it. That limited vision led him to retreat at times, turning inward instead of outward. There were also whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that Warner had faced recent personal losses. Some say a close friend's death hit him harder than he let on. Others claim he had been undergoing treatment for health issues he never disclosed publicly. But those close to him haven't confirmed any of it, and perhaps they never will. Malcolm always chose dignity over spectacle.
We're all good. We're the best that we could possibly be. So we're all in a really good place. There's still so much to be grateful for.
Even his withdrawal from a scheduled public speaking event just weeks before his death now feels more significant. At the time, it was chalked up to scheduling conflicts. But in hindsight, was it a sign that something more serious was happening? He didn't owe the world his struggles, but his silence now echoes louder than ever. And fans are left wondering if the weight of staying strong for so long became too much for even him to carry. The legacy he leaves behind.
We're talking about an industry where working actors have a 94% rejection rate.
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking every time you go into an audition, that 90% of the times you don't book the job based on something that has nothing to do with your work.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death has left an emotional crater in the hearts of fans, friends, and fellow artists. But even in this moment of sorrow, his legacy continues to speak louder than any headline ever could. For many, he wasn't just Theo Huxtable. He was the first time they saw themselves on screen as something more than a stereotype. He was proof that black boyhood could be smart, vulnerable, and deeply loved. His contribution to The Cosby Show marked a cultural shift, but Warner didn't let that be the final note in his story. Over the years, he worked tirelessly, often quietly, to build a body of work that showed range and intention. Whether it was his breakout spoken word albums, his emotional performances in medical dramas, or his powerful stage work, he constantly pushed boundaries without ever demanding applause. Off-screen, Warner became a mentor and inspiration to younger artists navigating the industry. He wasn't flashy, but he was dependable, grounded, authentic. His interviews were rare, but when he spoke with meaning about fatherhood, faith, mental health, and art. He reminded people that it's possible to grow up in the spotlight and still come out whole, even if scarred. His final social media posts carried a tone of reflection. He shared poems about gratitude, heartbreak, and the passage of time. Now, fans are revisiting those words, wondering if they were more than just art, maybe quiet goodbyes disguised as verse. Tributes have poured in across platforms. Former co-stars, industry friends, and fans around the world have described him as a gentle giant, a quiet revolutionary, and a man who gave more than he ever took. His death may have been sudden, but the imprint he left is lasting. Because in the end, Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't need constant headlines to matter. He mattered because he changed how we saw the world and how we saw ourselves. If Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing has shaken you too, know this: his story doesn't end here. His work, his voice, and his legacy will continue to inspire. Let's honor him by keeping the conversation alive. Like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth stories from behind the headlines. And don't miss the next video on screen, because the truth deserves to be told.